Blimey, what have I been doing on and off for just over a year now? I have been designing and playtesting my very own card game. That's right, I have been in the process of making this. Two sides of a coin, Hannibal and Scipio. What is two sides of a coin, Hannibal and Scipio? Two sides of a coin, Hannibal and Scipio is a two-player competitive deck building game set in the Second Punic Wars, and it all works on a best 2 out of 3 system. So we'll just get everything all set up here. So it's a two-player game. We have Scipio Africanus in the red cards here, the Romans. You probably can't see that very well. And in the blue here, we have Hannibal Barca leading the Carthaginians. You also can't see that very well, never mind that. And we also have various allied decks here, so we'll just get these all set up here. So how this game works? The game plays very similarly to stuff like Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, all those sorts of bits and pieces. However, it's all on a best 2 out of 3 system, so game time is very short. An average game in my play setting lasts about 5 minutes. And within these games, you'll be using your decks to compete against each other, but you would also be drafting cards from the various allied decks here. So it's a competitive card game, but it's also a deck builder as well. You'll be building your deck throughout the course of the 2 out of 3 system. So the allied decks here, we have the Latin states in the yellow, the Gauls in the green, and the Numidians in the purples. And from the first turn of the game, both players have access to as many of these cards as they so wish, and they can add them to their hands throughout the course of the game. The way to how this all balances is that, generally speaking, the cards in the allied decks are weaker than the cards that you'll find in your starting decks, but these cards have a lot more synergies with themselves. So if we take this card here, the Numidian Cavalry, as a quick note as well, I printed these cards off a few weeks ago. Pretty much all of them have changed now since playtesting. I've printed them out, so it just makes playtesting a lot quicker, like actually having like cards to feel and play around with. But pretty much all these cards have changed, so don't take these cards too literally. But also the artwork, don't spend too much time looking at the artwork. It's very sort of sprite-based, very pixely. I'm not an artist. I am trying to find like certain improvements of these, but yeah, the artwork isn't massively impressive on these. But if we take the Numidian Cavalry, for example, these cards, for a cavalry unit, it's a very weak cavalry unit. However, they gain additional health if you control another cavalry unit. And so you generally do find a lot of cavalry units within the Numidian deck. And so one strategy could be just grab all the Numidian cards and you get some very impressive Numidian cavalry. And those sorts of synergies go across all of the other decks as well. So having all the Gaul cards, you can go ahead and do a Gaul strategy, or like all the Latin states, they have synergies within themselves. The allied decks also have synergies between each other as well. So you could pick 2 or possibly even all of them, and then you have various like goals and win conditions you can fill doing it that way. Or even one strategy could very well be just stick to what you have here, stick to the consistent, stick to the powerful cards you have here. One risk of this game is that if you're playing the game and you start picking up all these cards from the allied decks, you win game 1 because you've got all these impressive allied cards. You're going into game 2 now, and your deck is a lot more inconsistent because you just chock-a-blocked yourself full of these cards that are very situational. So you do need to balance when is the right time to pick up, to draft these allied cards and put them into your deck. The game features 3 different types of units. You have infantry units, cavalry units, skirmishers, and these are all like either a mix of light or heavy variants, and that plays into the whole sort of like competitive nature of the game. It's very back and forth, again, very fast play style on these ones. And I think that's just about everything, really. I'm very proud of the work I've done on this game. Like I said, I've been working on it for about a year now, and I think it's come a very long way. It is balanced very healthily. Not one particular particular player is any stronger than the other. Like I said, both players, they do have their own unique win conditions within themselves. Unique win conditions that each of them can explore within each of the allies, and also, like I said, you do have synergies mixing, matching the allied cards with various players here. So, yeah, I'm very proud of the work that I have here, and this is Two Sides of a Coin, Hannibal and Scipio. Bye.